Hello and welcome to Sliver Surfer 1. This is Travis. I finally got this lens that I've been looking for a while. Okay, the first lens I ever got for adapting to my digital camera was when I bought a Pentax KX years and years ago. And the first lens I adapted to it was a Pentax Asahi Takumar 135 f3.5. Okay, now that's not the lens that I'm looking for, because I did have that lens a long time ago, and it got me into the Takumar lenses. I just, can't say enough about the Takumar screw mount lenses. This lens that I got just recently is the ultimate vintage lens, in my opinion, because nothing says a vintage lens more than a 135 focal length, because that's basically the telephoto lens of the times, of the vintage times. It was a 135. It was basically the equivalent of a kit mount telephoto back then. But the one that I got here is in this case here, this beat up old case. It's the Takumar 2.5 135 millimeter lens. Okay. It came with a lovely hood, the Asahi Pentax super fit cap. They always amazes me how nicely these slide on. They're almost airtight. Yeah, so this is the lens here. It's the super multi-coated Takumar 2.5 135 lens by Asahi Optical, Japan. I found this lens on Kijiji, and it came with all the accessories that come with it, the end cap and those other things I showed you. And I got a pretty good deal on it. And the reason why I got a pretty good deal on it, and I recommend that you try getting this, looking for one that has something, if you're going to use it. Like collectors, you can do what you want, but if you want to save money on lenses, just find a little flaw, one that has little flaws that won't affect your adapted picture taking. This one, the flaw on it is the aperture, okay? The aperture, sorry, gotta put it in auto mode. You can see on here there's a tiny little pin. Some people think that these things are broken if they try turning this back to auto. There's a little switch, a little auto aperture switch here. Sometimes you get it and you can't turn it back to auto and you get all frustrated. Well, there's a little pin here, you press, and then you can switch it back. Or you put it on a proper camera and it'll work. But you can see the reason why I got a good deal on it is it's got a slow aperture, which it's not going to affect you using it on any digital camera at all. Okay, because with like Pentax cameras, you can adapt it straight to those, or Canons, they shoot in stop down mode, and also on like the Sony camera, which I use, it doesn't matter. It always shoots it at whatever aperture you set it to. It may be even a bonus if I'm doing a video and I want to get like a slow everything in focus, and just do that. So, but yeah, that's the flaw it had in it, and everything else works great. It's a buttery smooth turn, and you can see it goes from infinity, of course, down to 150 centimeters, a meter and a half, or a little under 5 feet if you're talking the imperial system. Alright, and it goes from f2.5 to f22. It's obviously a full frame lens, and it's M42 mount. It's got 6 blades, max magnification of 0.11. The production years for this was 1965 to 1971, so this lens is older than me. Very nice. It's obviously multi-coated. Okay? Look at those multi-coatedness. If you're looking for a hood for it, and you can't find the 135 one, it's the same one as the 200 f4, and a lot of times you can get the 200 f4 really cheap. It's the same hood. It even says on it, so I can show you. See that? It's the same hood. It shares the hood. So if you can't get one with a hood, just try finding the 200 f4, which is, you know, it's an alright lens, but there's better ones than that out there. So I've heard so many reviews about it, and I've seen so many samples about this lens, that what I did is I had a show that I had to shoot in a club that has pretty poor lighting. It was a music show. If you haven't seen before, my kids, they all play instruments and sing and do stuff like that. And I'm working with the music school. I don't work for them, but I do shoot all their events for them. I decided that I was going to try this out. Baptize it in fire. I didn't try it on my camera for anything else. I thought I'd take it out and go give it a shot, because it's supposed to be super sharp. The only issues I've seen with this, like some only complaints, are aberration. But when you're shooting in clubs, there's not going to be aberration because it's so dark. The lighting was poor, as always poor in those clubs. And I gotta tell you, this lens is the cat's elbows. It's awesome. It's really good. It's my new favorite events lens. So it'd be great for doing, you go to a wedding or you go to a party. You can use this to shoot with on your adapted camera. I put it on my Sony A7ii with one of these on a little M42 to TeknoAXE adapter. Okay, so these Sony adapters, you have to make sure that they specify in whatever ad you buy them from that they are for the Sony A7 II, because the A7 I had a larger space for the bayonet teeth here, and the old A7 adapters won't fit on the A7 II because it requires smaller teeth. Okay, so like I said, it's the bee's knees. It's amazing. I can't say enough about it. This is so easy to focus because the 3D pop on it is really good. It's very sharp. So what I was doing when I shoot events and whatnot is I use I have a button set up specifically for focus magnification that I can move around to wherever I want. But I do focus magnification. I don't use peaking very much, especially with these. When you have a lens that's got such a wide aperture, because focus peaking will get anything within 5.6. Will show like a little yellow or red or blue color or white or whatever color you have for focus peaking, even though it's set to 2.5. So yeah, just focus magnification was awesome for that. You can also use the peaking. It's pretty good for most purposes, but I don't. I like to use focus magnification on it. Yeah, I was shooting at f2.5, between 2.5 and f3.5 with it because it's so dark. Little tip for you guys is when you're shooting, there's a lot of people out there that, it's funny when I'm in the club, they're trying to take pictures, and when I'm at doing school functions too, when they're trying to take pictures with their flash in these clubs, and totally a flash will wash out the ambience of the club. What you want to do is set your white balance to incandescent, because your eyes are used to incandescent in the club, and then when they turn the lights down for the music, you'll basically get the same ambience as people that are in there. Sometimes I set my ISO to auto, and then what I'll do is I'll turn the exposure compensation on the camera down to 1 below or 1.5 below 0 exposure, and then you basically will get the proper ambience for that type of club thing. And use your metering, don't use point metering, use anything but point metering for the exposure. But yeah, like I said, this is the bee's meow. It's awesome. For this lens here, you're probably looking to spend around 120 US for something like this. If you can get it less, that's awesome. Generally, these lenses are mechanically indestructible. Look for dust and fungus and haze. Anything that will take away from the sharpness of this lens. Shine a flashlight through it, and if you see a film on the inside of the lens, then run away. But anything else, as long as it works, go get it.
If you don't know who I am, I'll tell you so you understand.